Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Real Estate Agent Rehab.
Welcome to Know the Market in an ever-changing market. So, Amir, how's the market?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's a tough question to answer because there's so much going on and so many different variables that it seems like it's changing every day. Just when you think you have it figured out, something else happens to where values are changing, the amount of inventory is changing, the buyers' confidence is changing. So it just depends on where you're selling houses, obviously. What's going on with the interest rates? What's going on with the inventory? What's going on politically, for that matter, and with the economy as well. There's just so many variables, and it seems like things are just happening and changing so quickly that it's very hard to keep a pulse onto this market. And so today we kind of want to go through all these different variables, kind of understand where we were and kind of where we're transitioning to and where we're going, and how to kind of stay up to date with the things that are going to be important for you to understand the marketplace and what's really going on.
So what do you think the most important thing an agent, new, established, would have in their arsenal today?
I mean, it's knowledge. The biggest thing for any agent is to have the knowledge, is to really do the research and understand what's happening. And it was hard for us to really do it. A lot of that during COVID. Everything happened so quickly. The rates came down. Everything all the listings kind of became a feeding frenzy, and it was almost like we didn't have time to stop and think and kind of process what's really going on. It was just go, 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 go. And kind of when the rates crept up again, then it's like, okay, now we're kind of getting back to normal, and things kind of made a kind of a big, halting stop and kind of a turn for the worse, as people thought the world's coming to the end. The rates are at 6 or 7%. And then now I think people are slowly getting acclimated to this new rate. But there is additional fluctuation in the rate that is affecting our marketplace, and the amount of inventory is affecting the marketplace. So you really have to understand what's happening, hypersensitive to what's happening in your market on like a monthly, weekly, and almost even a daily basis.
Where would you tell agents to go to find that information out?
Well, there's a lot of information that's at your fingertips. So if you're an agent and you have the MLS, you can kind of look and see what's active, what's pending, what recently closed, what's canceled. So there's all that. You can see all that collective data that you can see what's happening just on the MLS just by taking a look at it. But it really, you almost need to take it a step further, where you have to kind of dig in. You have to go into these actual listings and have conversations with the other listing agents and find out from them, hey, by the way, I noticed you had this listing. It was on the market for 20 days. How many offers did you get? What was the pulse? How many showings? Did you go and do escrow? Over asking, below asking? Find out those questions from your fellow realtors. From the, it's kind of like a united front, where you really need to gather that information real time, because the comps of today aren't the same of comps of 30 days ago, what's been recorded.
No.
So, yeah, definitely talking to other listing agents is a big thing.
Okay. Something I also use very, very much is a system called InfoSparks. Okay. And that's for our local MLS. I'm sure every MLS has something to this, but it's a data mining system within the MLS that allows you to drill down and figure out exactly what's happening in each area. And by knowing that, you can actually go out and speak to your local, your fellow agents with a more concise manner. And what I mean by that is, a brand new agent can have an educated conversation with an established agent just by doing a little research before they contact them or talk or call them, things to that effect. It's it's showing up in the offices and talking to one another and really getting back involved in, I think you said it best, where we came from. Where we came from was an office environment where people came in, they discussed what was going on in their business, they kind of talked about the market, what was happening, and from there kind of built out. And then all of a sudden everybody went home one day. And we all decided to text was easier to talk to people, and it kind of changed the way people communicate. And I think we need to get more back to the, without sounding too old school, that belly to belly talking to people. And how's the market? What have you been up to? How are things going? You can even do that going out on Brokers Opens.
For sure. If you go on Brokers Open, you meet other listing agents, you meet other agents that are actually, doing the deal. You can kind of get a feel for, what's happening, live with the listing, if they're getting offers or getting activity, how many people are calling in, how many people are actually showing up to the Brokers Open. If you got a listing and you're going to see a bunch of brokers at a Brokers Open, that's a hot listing. Another thing is if, going to an open house, same thing. You go to an open house and there's 60, 70 people coming through the door, then you're on to something pretty good. What's funny is I've had a couple listings lately, about like 2 or 3, and within the last month, I've watched one of my listings in particular that I thought was a slam dunk deal. It was going to sell, and we started out in the marketplace where rates were kind of in the 5s, and this is about 30 days ago. And right off the bat, like within the first week or few days, I got an offer for full price, and I'm like, wow. And this person wanted to close right away. We wrapped up a deal. It was a 7-day escrow, and I'm like, okay, here we go. This is great. And for whatever reason, they backed out. They didn't inspect. They didn't do anything. They just wanted to kind of lock up the property and guarantee, so that they would have some sort of residence. And I think they had found something else, whatever the case may be. And then I was like, okay, no problem. They didn't get it. Let's see about somebody else. And then within a week, I got 1 or 2 other offers and was able to open up a second escrow on that property. And during the midst of that second week, rates started to kind of creep up. And I really wasn't paying attention to it because I'm just like, I'm so involved in the listing and my other listings that I'm not really taking into consideration what's going on in the marketplace, what's going on with inventory and stuff. I did take a look at inventory, and inventory was very low, specifically in this area for that type of property. So I didn't think much of it. I thought, what, it's a guaranteed sale, no big deal. But then, rates started to creep up, and this other client had a loan. And, again, within the first couple days, they changed their mind and they backed out. So it's like, you think you have like a done deal with the listing and you price it well, you do the marketing and everything of that nature. But the reality is, when the market shifts, so there's nothing that you can really do. Fast forward, here we are, 3 or 4 weeks later, and rates almost hit 8%. And now I'm in a position where, okay, do I need a price reduction when there's no other places for sale? Am I serious? Like, what am I going to tell my client? Because I put it in escrow for full price the first time, and then the second time we put it in for, over asking price, and now I'm going to ask for a price reduction. They're going to think, are you crazy? But that's how quickly this market can change, guys. And if you're not staying in front of this market, you're going to be left behind, and you're going to be sitting back with stale listings. You're going to be sitting back with unhappy clients, and guess who's going to win? The next broker on the deal that is in tune with the marketplace and can make those recommendations based on the data that's out there.
So I had a situation a little different than yours. A couple weeks ago, we had an open house, 50 people through, brokers open, 35 brokers through. I got brokers pulling me to the side and like trying to make sure that their offer is going to be seen and all that, right? Offers due on Wednesday at 5 o'clock, 1 offer.
Exactly. And it's so, there's this misconception of what could be.
Now, 1 offer, overpriced, right? Over ask.
Yeah.
And the client turns around and they say, well, we want more offers. Well, so do I, right?
Yeah.
But all we needed was 1, right? So we took it, we closed it, and it went through. But it was one of those things. It was like, man, what if they didn't make the offer?
Exactly. That's the worst feeling, and I've been there. I was just there.
Absolutely, we've all been there.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing, and I'm not talking too much about this deal, but they were the first people in Saturday morning. We held it Saturday, Sunday, all day, right? 45 people through, 50 people through. First ones through were the ones who made the offer 2 days later. And it's something I always say with everybody, and folks know this. Your first offer is usually your best offer, right? if somebody's coming in, you don't want to shop it. You want to make sure you're making a deal with people. And in cases like that, you know, it's people are willing to negotiate against themselves. Because they're so convinced there's going to be more offers, and then you get people who get afraid to make offers because they know they're going to get priced out when they might have gotten the deal.
Exactly.
For ask.
Exactly, and that's kind of the fine line there of where you price your property, how you market it, and how I think buyers are in a position now. Like I said. I don't know if I said this earlier or not, but the confidence in the buyers has gone down. Like, oh yeah, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into the bidding war. You know, I'm not even going to try because I'm not even going to make it. But the reality is, a lot of these listing agents are sitting with nothing.
You got a really good chance of getting it.
Yeah, you do have a really good chance of getting it. So, I mean...
Something that we experienced through COVID or coming out of COVID really, was that buyer fatigue.
Yeah.
Where buyers are just like, oh, I'm over it, right?
Yeah.
And we all got really nervous, like, oh my God, are the buyers drying up? And they're not, but now you're like you said, you're getting into these buyers where they're just like, you know what? I'm not even going down that road. I'm not being disappointed on that house. And...
and they're okay with waiting.
Yeah.
People are okay with waiting. They're going to wait and see what else comes up because there's other stuff that is popping up.
Yeah.
So, and it really goes back to what we're saying here is that if you know that there's a listing, if Vance has a listing and they just got closed, so and maybe it got closed over, doesn't necessarily mean that he got 10 offers. Doesn't necessarily mean that he had, all this activity and all these deals. So the idea is that you need to call and find out, like, hey, how many offers did you get? You guys close it over ask. You say, oh, I got one. Okay, so what does that mean? What does that mean? That means, okay, the buyers they're really not just throwing up offers left and right? They're taking their time. They're thinking about things. They're not falling into these traps. And so what do we have to do as buyer's agents? We have to inform our clients that, hey, don't worry if there's an offer deadline due. Don't worry if you want to just only write at asking price and not write it over. And that's where buyers are thinking that they want to come in below.
Absolutely.
Right? And especially if they're doing a loan, and especially if the rates have gone up, they want to go below because that's probably where the house is worth.
I wrote an offer this morning for 10% under ask.
Yeah.
With full intention on getting it.
Yeah. And that's where you have to really educate your buyer and say, it's okay, let's just throw something in there. Let's just throw an offer and see what happens. Even if it's below asking, let's just see. Because that first buyer that wants to win it, who's first to the party, is probably going to leave the party before the end. And that's when you can scoop up these deals.
So where do you think the listings are coming from today?
Ooh, it's very easy. I talk about this all the time. It's I call it death, divorce, and relocation. So a lot of trust sales, a lot of fixers, a lot of have to sells. We don't get people that go, oh, I think I want a house with a pool now, so we'll sell ours. We'll get the one with the pool, or we want a view. It's the have to sell people, which is good again for the buyers because these people have to sell. They're not in a position where, if we don't sell, whatever, we'll stay in it for a year or two, and then we'll try it again later.
Can you convince someone to sell?
It depends. It depends on the amount, the motivation of the person. If there's some motivation there, and they just need that person to put them over the edge, I think it's possible. But if there's no motivation there, and there's no reason why they would need to move, then there's not really something that you have to worry about in that sense. So I would just say yes and no.
Yeah, I mean, basically, there's nothing I can say to you that's going to get you, that you're going to go, oh my God, I have to sell my house today, right? What I can do, and going back to your knowledge, and your knowledge is confidence, okay? And knowing the market, knowing what's going on, and talking to you, and giving you true facts, it might actually lay out a good plan for you that this is the right time to sell today. And what we as salespeople need to understand is, in today's world, we need to be consultants. Right? We need to really ask more questions. If somebody says, I want to sell my house, my first question is why. Okay, and why, meaning like convince me you want to sell your house, not just I want to sell my house, and then after we get involved, you start pulling out and saying, "What? Put my interest rates here." You know, why do you want to sell this house? What is the game plan? And from there, truly advising them on is now the best time. Because sometimes somebody will tell you they want to do something, and maybe they should wait, or maybe now that idea is far off. And the more you can say as a real estate agent, that's not the right thing for you to do, the better your client is going to entrust you in the future. Same right though, someone wants to sell their house. Do we sell it? Absolutely. Right? Period, end of subject. Interest rates be damned. What are interest rates? Now we have a mortgage division as well. What are interest rates doing these days? What are they looking like?
They're just it's very volatile right now. I mean, just when you think, okay, things are coming down, we're in the upper fives to the mid fives, and like, okay, we're starting to get to a happy place, and things are moving, and inventory is going. Things just recently creeped up to almost 8%. And that really affects people's buying powers. It really limits them to how much they can actually afford.
So, and here, obviously, what Amir is talking about is the seesaw effect. Okay, so when interest rates come up, property values go down. When interest rates go down, property values go up. It just works intrinsically like that. What's dealing with this interest rate? Why are we seeing these fluctuations? Because as realtors, we see it start to come down, and then all of a sudden,
that's a really good question. I think it has to do with the Fed and what's going on, politically, and what's happening with our economy. And I think trying to control this recession, and it's a government trying to kind of reposition how the country is and what we're spending our money on. And it's it's not really a fun place to be when you're in real estate, not at all, because the uncertainty of this market, obviously affects all of our paychecks, where a lot of companies and agents and stuff are down 30, 40, even 50% business year over year. No one's making the same money they did last year or the year before that or the year before that. So, and if you look at inventory levels historically, we're still only halfway towards having pre-pandemic inventory levels. We have half the amount. So,
and we have 25% the amount we had 10 years ago.
Right. So, I mean, that just goes to show it's like, it's tough out there, and that's why understanding the market and being able to have these conversations with potential sellers, with your buyers, to build the confidence in what they're doing is super important, and let them know, hey, you're probably not going to get more for your house than you will right now. We're at this pivotal moment where things are really peaking. And,
but I'm waiting for the crash, Amir.
Well, there is no crash because there's not enough inventory.
Yeah, the crash happened last January.
Yeah, it was a very much it was a crash that was prevented in a sense.
Absolutely.
And which has changed kind of the way that we thought that the real estate market could progress, because historically, everyone says historically, every 10 years there's some sort of sway, there's some sort of crash, and with this indirectly is our crash. The crash is not being able to have enough inventory or sell enough houses because there's not enough houses to sell and the rates are high and buyers can't afford it. So that's indirectly our crash.
So why don't we wrap it up with this? If you were to give an agent advice on where to focus their attention, listings or buyers, where would you focus your attention if you were an agent and you wanted to make money ASAP the most efficiently?
That's a good question. I would say both. I would say if you have the buyers, then go after the sellers in that buyer's marketplace and try to position yourself with, hey, if you've thought of selling, I have someone who wants to buy in this neighborhood, run that report and try to get into the off-market segment and try to get in and do these deals, which actually helps sellers, to not put their property on the MLS and look like it's aged and do something under, off market. use the comps of this market to help, provide those sellers with a good price, and relieve the stress off of the buyers with the competition that's out there by doing some sort of off-market deals with people. I think that segment is definitely a segment where you could, if you engulf yourself in that, it's a hidden gem of deals that if you come in and do the work and make the phone calls, because they're only limited to what so much is on the MLS with your buyers, and you're limited, to what people will actively want to sell based on, what I've told you. But there's the second degree of people who have been thinking about selling that, they just don't know. And if you approach them with an offer, someone who says, you might catch them on that day when they go, hey, I'm fed up with California. I want to move to Texas, or I want to move to, Nevada, where I can spend half for the same house and I can go retire there, right? So for me, I think it's good to be able to have both in your arsenal. I position myself as more of a listing agent than a buyer's agent, because listings is where it seems to be easy, but it's not always easy right now.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, now we actually have to be realtors. Okay, for the past 5 years, it's been order takers.
Yeah.
If you had a buyer, you just wrote enough offers, you got a listing, and everybody wanted to write offers. Now we actually have to become educated in the market. We need to know what's happening in all of our markets, what the strategies are, how to build, a business in this market, and from that, working buyers, sellers. I've always been listing heavy, and the idea behind it is take the listing, market it to the buyers, grab a buyer, market to off-market listings. But that is real estate stuff. That's digging in and actually being a realtor, and not just putting your clients on a drip campaign from the MLS and sending them everything that comes out on the market that they're going to be up against. Today is I see today as kind of the pivotal point for real estate. Right? And right now what we're going to see is agents are going to come out of this market, and they're going to be massive agents. And there's going to be agents that just fall off because they can't keep up with what's happening. And if you get involved and you stay involved, you learn this market, how to really manipulate it, sky is the limit. It's insane what's out there right now because so many people are not willing to do it. All right, and everyone says they're working from home, they're doing this, they're doing that. They're not. All right, there's handfuls of people out there working, and the ones who are working are getting business, and they're closing business every month. So as you said, everybody's not making the same money they made a couple years ago. But mark my words, there's agents today having the best year of their life.
And as the market shifts and it gets better and better and better, and there's more inventory, they're going to have even better years.
That's right.
And they're going to be consistent and be like, when it was really hard, I was able to make it, right? And then when it got easy, I got easier, and I made it even more. Yeah. So be that agent. That's what I could say is just be that person. Understand what this market is. Understand what you're working with, how to work the marketplace, and be the best person that you can be the best realtor that you can be, and just show up for your business every single day.
And know your value. Okay, this is a market right now that reduced commissions and giving all your money back to your client because they're going to give you an opportunity to sell their home. That's not the way to do this business, folks. Be a professional, know your value. They're hiring you to do a very specific task that a very few people in this world can do. That's sell real estate.
Now, you might need the money too, because the deals are fewer and farther between.
That's
so you don't want to sell yourself short and realize, I don't have another deal behind this one. So you want to maximize the profit as well on every deal.
So that's it.
All right. With that said, hope you guys have learned something. Obviously, we covered a lot about the marketplace. We covered a lot about maybe how to get deals, what's happening, being able to get out there and talk to fellow realtors, especially ones that just went into escrow, finding out how many offers they had. So you really have a good pulse if you're working with buyers or sellers to understand how to educate your clients. It's all about education. We are consultants, as Vance said, so really be knowledgeable, understand what's happening so you can be the best version of realtor that you can be.
That's it. Know the market, and confidence comes with knowledge.
and experience too. So that's it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for watching, and please like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode.
See you soon.